For all the love and attention Borderlands pays its cover model psychos, it's surprising that it took until the latest Borderlands 3 DLC to have us dive into the brains of a shirtless, blood-soaked madman for the world's most traumatizing episode of the Magic School Bus. But while the concept of entering the mind of a psycho to discover the origins of a plague of insanity is a rock-solid concept and leads to one of the best boss battles in all of Borderlands, Psycho Krieg and the fantastic Fustercluck is otherwise a fairly predictable ride filled with bullets, psychopaths, and non-stop screaming.
Slavering jawbones rake fury across the trembling ball.
Fantastic Fustercluck is all about the Crimson Raiders' resident mental case, Krieg, who's known for screaming nonsensical catchphrases as he butchers his way through life. Fantastic Fustercluck transports you into his mind to discover the origin of his insanity and to find out what makes him tick. It's not a very surprising story, but you do get to see through the bizarre lens through which he views the world, and even be reunited with an old friend. Krieg's insanity is mostly used to place you in bizarre, mildly entertaining situations, like having to shoot down the moon and use it as ammo in a siege warfare encounter. It's entertaining for a short while, but even in a campaign that runs just a few hours long, you can only hear Krieg shout about how he wants to lick meat flesh off someone or whatever so many times before you become numb to it. Yes, we get it. You're insane.
Tear the flesh in the place where it is, rip it, gnaw it!
With all the weirdness, it's disappointing that most of Fantastic Fustercluck feels like a generic Borderlands expansion that takes few actual risks. In the first and third acts, you fight lots of the usual psychopaths, Hyperion loader bots, and of course, spider ants, until you reach a final boss encounter that's so dull, you might just fall asleep in the middle of it. Don't get me wrong, there are some awesome new areas that can only come from Krieg's mind. It's great to look at, but aside from an amusing new type of psycho that rides a giant bullet like something out of Dr. Strangelove, there just aren't a ton of surprising new things to do or fight or get excited about. Even the side quests are pretty disappointingly shallow.
I see me ma'am. That's what you want to hear, right?
Which is a bummer because historically side quests have been some of Borderlands' most entertaining content. But wait, it's not all bad news. Though most of Fustercluck is extremely by the book, romp through piles of murdered man meat and exploding robots, the impressive middle act is so unique it almost completely redeems it. As you dive deeper into Krieg's psychotic psyche, you suddenly find yourself hunted by a sentient, anthropomorphic train called Locomobius, which turns an entire area into one frantic, dangerous, and fantastic boss fight. As you work your way through the area, the Locomobius relentlessly tries to run you over by spontaneously manifesting ghostly train tracks and popping out of a portal to chugga-chugga-choo-choo its way through anything unfortunate enough to get in its way. It isn't afraid to run over its own allies as it tries to maim you, and can even blow holes through the level terrain, adding another layer of difficulty to progressing through the level. The area concludes once you reach the train's lair, because of course it has a lair, and face off in a final battle that literally and figuratively goes off the rails. It's easily one of the most memorable encounters in the Borderlands series, so it's worth putting up with some obligatory stuff to experience it.
Rage. Overpowering, all-consuming rage.
One stellar area and boss fight almost completely redeems Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck. Its opening and closing acts though are mechanically mundane despite how hard they try to be crazy and outrageous. Like all Borderlands content, there are plenty of laughs to be had, monsters to be exploded, and loot to claim. But we've had so much of that already that only the mind-blowing battle with the Locomobius stands out. For more on Borderlands 3, check out our reviews of the last couple of DLCs. And of course, for everything else, stick with IGN.